entire Persian Empire. As Ibn Hajar Asqalani rahimahullah is mentioning the story of Rabi' ibn Amr radiallahu ta'ala. Rabi' ibn Amr radiallahu ta'ala was a Sahabi from Medina, but very poor man, very poor, and his stature was also short, very skinny. But he was a companion of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And they had already defeated most of the Roman armies in the north, and now they proceeded to the Persian Empire. So this is a Jama'ah led by Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas radiallahu ta'ala, and they approached the Persian Empire, and amongst them, so the Persians sent an emissary, their general, to meet the Muslim army. And his name was Rustum. Rustum was the army general of the Persian Empire. And then finally they wanted to meet the Arabs who had defeated all of the Arab tribes, and they had defeated the Roman Empire in the north. So they saw that they're very powerful people. So he prepared to meet this envoy with a great tent made out of leather and brocade, and then huge carpets, and everyone was well dressed. So everything that a statesman should be given, they give big honor to create this big environment that we are powerful, we are very rich, and we are a great empire. Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas radiallahu ta'ala sent to meet this Roman Empire, this Persian Empire, Rabi' ibn Amr radiallahu ta'ala. Again, very poor man, short in stature, and he was riding a mule. So Rabi' radiallahu ta'ala went to this Rustum. He went to the gates of the palace, and then this guard stopped him. He said that, why are you here? He said that I have been sent. So he gave a letter. He said, you need to get out of your horse. He said, I'm not getting out of my horse. I'm going to go with my horse because this place is too big. So then he went inside the castle with his animal, and the animal walked upon the carpet. And here the Shaykh writes that the condition of this scene was so important to understand that Rabi' radiallahu ta'ala did not care for all this, pomp and show. Then when finally he got out of his horse, he took his spear and he walked towards the king. And the king was sitting high on a throne. So Rabi' radiallahu ta'ala tied the horse to the mule to the throne of the king. And he went and sat next to the king. And he started to speak to him. The Persian king asked him that he says that, Ma ja'a bikum, why have you come? And Rabi' radiallahu ta'ala said, and this is one of the most beautiful words the Shaykh has mentioned that every Muslim should recognize and know. He said, Allah ta'asana li nukhrij al-ibad min ibadat al-ibad ila ibadat Rabbi al-ibad ومن ضيق الدنيا إلى سعتها ومن جور الأديان إلى أدل الإسلام. He said, Rabi radiallahu ta'ala responded to the king of Persia, saying that Allah has sent us. I didn't come on my own. Allah sent us. Allah has sent us to you to deliver you from the worshipping of the creation to the worshipping of the Creator. And Allah has sent us to deliver you from the constriction, from the narrowness of this dunya to the vastness of akhirah. And Allah has sent us to bring you out of the injustice of all other traditions to the justice of Islam. This is why I have come to deliver this message to you. And it says that the king looked at him with such vigor and words that he says that the contrast, the scholars have mentioned, Rabi' ibn Amr radiallahu ta'ala saying these words without having any love of this dunya, any fear for a king, any fear for his army. He had no fear amongst them. Why? It is mentioned that because Rabi' ibn Amr radiallahu ta'ala, Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas sent him in such a condition, a person who had no fear of dunya, no love of dunya in his heart. And this was the uniqueness of this companion, that he was given the wealth. He was trying to be bribed by the king. The king offered him the best of women in our kingdom. They said that we'll give you gold to make you a king upon yourself. And your leaders can become kings on yourself. We'll give you horses, camels full of laden with gold. But none of this impressed Rabi'a radiallahu ta'ala an. He says, and we cited these verses, he said, Inna dunya mal'unatin mal'una ma fiha illa dhikrullahi wa ma walahu wa alima al-muta'alliman. He says that Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam mentioned to us, it is not the world, that this world is cursed in everything in it. It is so except for the remembrance of Allah and that what comes from it. And the scholar and the seeker of knowledge, they are the only ones safe from this. And he said also, he mentioned that there's lots of conversation that took place between them. But at the end, it is mentioned that Rustum said, throw him out of the palace. And when he went out of the palace, they gave him a gift. What was the gift? They gave him a basket full of dirt. No gold, no silver. And he took this gift. He said, he turned around to the king and he said, you have now given me your land. You have given me your land. So it is not now whatever you possess will belong to the Muslims. And when he took this back to Sa'd ibn Waqqas radiyallahu ta'ala, they rejoiced, they made 2 rakat salah, and they said, prepare for the victory that Allah has promised us. And the victory was the battle of Qadisiyah. And to make it short, the Shaykh doesn't write all of the details of the battle, but he says that, imagine there were 10,000 companions with Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas radiyallahu anhu. When the night of the battle took place, the rivers had flooded, all the bridges were burned, all the boats were destroyed, so the Muslims cannot pass the Euphrates River in Iraq. He says that when Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas radiallahu ta'ala turned to his companions, he said, is anyone amongst you in my army has committed a major sin? Any kabair? So all of them said no. And he said, is there anyone who is in dispute with Allah? They said, no. He said, except to one companion, one person. He said, I did something wrong which I did not make tawbah for. And so he went on his own, he made 2 rakat salah and asked Allah's forgiveness. And then when everyone was ready, they came to the banks of the Euphrates. No boat, no bridge. So Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas radiallahu told them, now we will enter this river with the help of Allah. So they all jumped into the water and not one horse drowned. All of the horses in the army was walking on top of the water. When they saw this condition, the battle of Qadisiyah, the Persians, they said these people are not humans, they are jinns. So they left the battlefield without a fight. They conquered the entire city. And this was because of what Rabi'a ibn Amr radiallahu ta'ala said, they gave me their land. By giving the dirt in a basket, they said they have themselves sealed their fate. Because Allah has promised victory for those who have Iman and A'mal in their lives. So this was the life of Rabi'a. Rabi'a ibn Amr radiallahu ta'ala, further he writes that his love of Allah was so immense. He says that his salah was one of the most perfect salah. He said when he got married, in the first night, he got married to one of the most wealthiest women, of Medina at that time. He says that when he got married, the first night of marriage, he came, and his wife is ready with him. He looked at her beauty and her immense, wealth. He said, let me turn to Allah and make 2 rakat salah. And he turned to Allah and made 2 rakat salah, the entire night went. And then Fajr salah started. So then the next night when he came to be with his wife, second night, he looked at her, such beauty and such immense, he said, let me turn to Allah and make 2 rakat salah. So he turned to Allah and made 2 rakat salah again, and Fajr came. And third night, same thing, so the wife complained to her father. He said, oh my father, I think the husband that you have given me he does not like me or he does not need a woman. So they went and complained to the Prophet ﷺ. He said, "Oh Nabi of Allah, this Rabia, your companion, this is what he has done." So Nabi ﷺ asked him, he said, "Oh Rabia, why is it that you do not like her? You do not want her? What is the condition?" He said, "Oh Nabi of Allah, what can I do? I see her beauty, but I want to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for what Allah has given me. So I turn in salah to Allah, but as soon as I Allahu Akbar, the doors of Jannah open in front of my eyes. And I'm witnessing the paradise in front of me. And I'm seeing the Hurayn of Jannah. And I'm seeing the gardens of paradise in front of me. And I'm enjoying this pleasure of Jannah. And by the time Azan is called, I come back, and remind myself." He said, "Oh Rabia, you have right upon yourself, and she also has right upon you. So this time, be with her." So this is Rabia ibn Amir radiallahu ta'ala. May Allah make us like him, inshallah. Subhanallah, bihamdihi. Subhanakallah, bihamdihi. La ilaha illa anta.